think it's so fascinating how behaviors are so connected within almost every aspect in your life. I mean, it's not only like dog training or your marriage or parenting or the way you run a business. It's more than that. It's the way you think, the way you create habits, or the way you have fears of losing a partner, or fears of going broke, or fears of, so many fears we have. And they're all damaging your life, they're all damaging your future. So today I want to talk to you about two subjects that I think could change your life, like as you're watching the video. Because it's some realizations that a lot of times we just don't even know how to think about these things because we've never heard them anywhere, or we've never seen them anywhere. So what are these two subjects? I want to talk to you about the relationship there is between building a behavior within not only species but aspects of your life, like I was mentioning before, and how important it is to be aware of this, because it's affecting you every second of your life. It's every thought you have, every word you say, every action you take. It's creating your future. So if you don't get a handle of that, you don't have a handle on your future, and you're just floating around letting life happen to you instead of happening to your life. Let me know in the comments if this is making sense, if you are getting a grasp on the concepts or not. Are you getting a grasp on your concepts? Yay! I remember, second subject that we're going to talk about is how sometimes you're just not the right person, and how you can become the right person. And this matters a lot, and if you want to become the right person. So let's talk about these things. Okay, subject number one. So to me, it's so important to be aware, and not only on like behavior building and all of these things, but to be aware on everything, because most of the times, did you know that 90% of the things you do every day are automatic? Like, it's like we're a robot. It's like our subconscious runs our days, but really only 10% of the things we do every day are conscious. So think about that. If we could improve to like 12% of being conscious in our days, what a difference, right? And this is so important because that's how you build behaviors. Or like if she was barking, a lot of people go and say like, no, stop that. But to her, as soon as I look at her, you can see her face brightens up, and like, it's just like so exciting to her to have eye contact with me. So it's like when you focus on something, it grows. Like when you put attention on something, you put intention into it. So if I put attention into her barking, like stop, no, shut up, like all these things you do and say, all you're doing is like reinforcing that barking, giving attention to it, and maybe not reinforcing it, but you are definitely giving a lot of attention to it. And so what do? We set up your environment. Environments are so important. I cannot express it enough, because it's, for example, if I put her in the outside patio, in a fenced patio, and if we lived in a neighborhood and there's a ton of people passing by that fence every single day, throughout all day, do I think I'm helping her not bark, or am I setting her in an environment where she's probably gonna bark? Well, yeah, like maybe change the environment a little bit, maybe have her inside where she doesn't have a ton of access to a bunch of windows. And it's the same thing with like our marriage, or like if I go to the club with all my single friends that are flirting on men and wanting to get attention from men, am I setting myself in the right environment? Or am I putting myself in our environment that disrespects our marriage? It's not an environment to grow my marriage, right? So environment is so powerful. And what I wanted to talk about, like building behavior, how it's so connected in different aspects of your life. It's, for example, like running a business. You could run a business from a place of fear, and or you can run a business from a place of reinforcement, which there's two different ways to build a behavior, which is what we're talking about, like the no, no, no. It's like a suppressive, submissive, an intimidating way of building a behavior, which really what you are doing is just suppressing a behavior. You're not building a behavior. But say if I reinforce her, like every time she waves the paw. Oh, good girl, that's a good girl. Now, every time I do that, I have a beautiful wave that she does, good girl. But I built that behavior to where she wants to do it now. Sometimes you learn things through modeling or through experiences or through modeling. Is like when you see somebody do something, then you model that. You do it again. So if you have a parent, a sister, a cousin, or all your family, or if you grew up around, say, a country club and everybody did that, or wherever your environment was, you are most likely to either say, I love this, or like your brain, like, oh, that's how things happen, that's how things are done, or it affects you so much that you say, like, I never want to do this. So, anyways, you build those behaviors at home. You build the good behaviors that you want in an environment that you control, in an environment that allows the person, the individual, the animal, the employee, whatever, to want to do those things. That way, when you get to that new environment or that new disposition, you have practiced that. Like, going to a challenging environment is not the place to build a behavior. It's the place to practice or test a behavior. Okay, so the second subject I wanted to talk to you about is, do you want to be that person or not? So yesterday I was doing a live and my internet was super bad. It was on Instagram and I couldn't get the message out there that I was trying to deliver. But what I was talking about is, like, I don't know if you ride horses or have seen English riding style, and you see the people go up and down when they're trotting. It's a posting trot and you're supposed to go in a diagonal depending on where you're bending the horse. So there is a specific leg that you rise and a leg, front leg, or hind leg, really is the hind leg, that you go with. So you go with the horse, and if you go in the opposite diagonal, you go against the horse. But long story short, I was taking a lesson yesterday. I hadn't gone riding in a long time, and I finally went, and I'm so glad I did. But it's like, sometimes you do things and you don't know why you do them, or more than that, sometimes you hear things or are exposed to things that you can't fully appreciate it because you haven't become the person that can appreciate that or that can take that message in. So the message, for example, yesterday was, she asked me, why do we go in the correct diagonal? And I said, well, because of balance. And she's like, right, but what are you balancing? And it's like, that's so interesting. I don't know. I do this, I understand it's because of balance, but I don't know how, like, the deep understanding of that. And it's like, we do a lot of things that we think we know why, but do we really know why? So it's like, go about everything you do in your life. Why do you do it? Like, I could think of so many things, but for example, we all know or think the earth, I know you're gonna think I'm crazy. I'm not saying the earth is flat at all. I'm just giving an example. But we all think, I say think because I don't know, I've never seen it with my own eyes. So we all know or think the earth is round, right? A sphere. But for example, back in the days, they would say the earth is flat and everybody would believe it. But why? Because nobody had seen it, or more than that, because that's what everybody thought. Everybody said it, and the more people say things, the more reinforcing it is. It's like a little seed in your brain, and every time you hear it, it's water planting the seed, putting it deeper. So it's like, oh, the earth is flat and there's more water. And then you get roots and you grow a tree and you grow a forest. And it's like, well, the earth is flat, and you have this deep belief, and somebody comes and says, oh no, the earth is round. It's like, no, that must be a lie. Scam alert, your brain goes into alert, stranger danger. You're not even willing to take the message. And that's what I'm saying of, sometimes we could be in the right place at the right time, but we're not going to take the message. So I was reading Matthew McConaughey. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right or not. I was reading his book about green lights, and it's so interesting because a year ago I started reading it and it hadn't hit me. It's like, the message, he has so many good little nuggets in there that it's like, wow, like life changer, or like lifesaver. And then like 5 sentences later, like, wow, that's so true. Or like, wow, what a brilliant way to express that. But when I read it last year, I was a totally different person. And I'm so glad that, like, you know, if now it clicks and then it didn't, that's great, because it means I'm growing. It means I'm pushing myself. It means I'm stepping into new environments. So now that book has become like such a great tool, and I like take so much time analyzing the book, studying the book. But in the past it didn't click me. And why? Because I was a different person. So a lot of times you could be in the right place, you could be in the right time, but you are not. Like, say if a golden opportunity that's going to make you millions of dollars, and it's like right in front of you, but you are a negative person that complains, that thinks everybody's out to get you, that blames, you know, that can't be accountable or responsible, you're most likely not gonna see the opportunity or take the opportunity, because you're not the right person. You can't see it, you can't uncover it. And a lot of times it's like, do you want to be that right person? Because it could be opposite. Like, you know, it could be like, for example, an environment of drugs and alcohol. And if you are like the type of person that does that, oh, when the drugs come out, you'll be like, oh yeah. But if you're not that type of person, sometimes you're most likely not even gonna notice that people are doing drugs or offering drugs, because most likely people are not gonna approach you with the drugs, because you're gonna have that energy around you that it's like, oh yeah, that girl, yeah, she probably doesn't do drugs. You know, it's just being like the type of person, the type of mentality you have around you. And it goes around. I know my channel's mainly about dog training, and I am at this moment in my life mainly about dog training. I have a lot of things going on in my life. I have my horses that I'm trying to get better at riding, and I'm trying to get my horses to enjoy working with me more. I want to show them, I want to show Candy, I want to show Blaze, I want to take him to, you know, different places, trail rides, and take them to the beach. Okay, so that's with the horses. And I have my dogs. I want to take them to some obedience classes, and I think we could do pretty well. I think we could maybe win a couple of ribbons, and then after we win some, I want to go to agility, and I want to go to some really like national competitions, and I think we could do very well. I can see them. They have such a good drive, and it's all because we've allowed that to come out of them. We've built their personalities to where they love training. And I wish I would have recorded yesterday's session. It was so good. I was kind of in my pajamas, so I didn't record anything. But Italia was so excited, and I've recently been teaching them to go in between my legs like a twirl, and they like reverse into my legs. And she just did it out of the blue. Like I just released her off her spot, and she just offered that. She automatically went and did that, and you could tell she was so happy to do it. She wanted to do that, and it's just so beautiful to see that. And it's the same, like if you own a business, and wouldn't it be so amazing if your employees wanted to do the things you've been wanting them to do? Like, oh, I closed 10 sales today. I went ahead and I don't know, you know, reached out to the 10 people that work for tomorrow. I went ahead and did it today. I did some cold calling. You know, like how powerful would it be if we could build those behaviors into people? And we can. It's just being aware. Like reinforcement builds behavior. And I know, like, it sounds so silly and simple, and it really is, but it's just like understanding like situations, environments, and the different types of people, like being like a chameleon, because your Navy SEAL is not gonna take the same reinforcement than a 5-year-old girl. You know, it's different, being adaptable to people and landing that message. So I hope this message lands with you. I don't know if it will. We are testing different material of like a little bit of entertainment, because I get very entertained with my dogs. They're just, I think, so adorable. And we of course want to educate like the material we know, because I really think it can change your life. Like it changed my life. The way I used to approach dog training, I mean, I didn't because I didn't have a dog to train, but the way I thought about dog training was so different, and the way I judged people, and I'm glad I don't do anymore. But I used to judge a lot, like, oh, why aren't they doing anything? Like, you know, but now I see things so different, and now I think like, oh no, please don't do that, you know? So, but it comes from a totally different place. So it has really given me a lot of peace, a lot of confidence, a lot of kindness, I think. At first, it was frustration because it was changing from some person I was to a new person. And that was frustrating to constantly like have to catch myself, like, don't do this, like, or you're better than this, you can do better, you can do better, you know? So, and I know you can do better. I know if you allow yourself to go through that transformation of growing, of learning new skills, learning new material. And I'm sure if you've stayed this long, you are very willing to learn. And that's the step number one. It's just being willing to try new things, to learn new things. And I'm just so excited for you. If you stayed this long, I think bright things are coming for you and that you are gonna do amazing things with your life. Fear is always present with anything worth doing. It didn't get easier, I got better. It's not like there was no fear, I just became more confident because I faced my fears over and over and over. So I built confidence. If anybody likes this, let me know in the comments. Hope it helps you.